The invitation arrived on a Tuesday in late August, one of those cream-colored envelopes that screamed formal event. I found it on the kitchen counter when I got home from work, already opened. My wife Amber had gotten there first. "It's my 20-year high school reunion," she said, not looking up from her laptop. "In Bloomington, end of September." I picked up the invitation. Bloomington High School class of 2005 was embossed in navy blue across the top. 20 years. That meant Amber was 38 now, 2 years older than me, something she'd joked about when we first met. "I'm a cougar," she'd said back then, though 27 and 25 was hardly scandalous. We'd met at a coffee shop in Austin in 2014, married 3 years later in 2017. 8 years of marriage that had somehow both flown by and dragged on. "You want to go?" I asked. She finally looked at me. "Would you come with me?" "To Indiana? Sure. When is it?" "September 27th. It's a Saturday night thing. We'd need to fly out Friday, come back Sunday." I thought about my teaching schedule. I could take the Friday off, get a substitute from my 6th grade class. "Yeah, I can make that work." Something flickered across her face. Surprise, maybe? Or concern? But it vanished so quickly I thought I'd imagined it. "Great," she said. "I'll RSVP for both of us." The next few weeks passed normally enough. Amber worked from home doing graphic design for a marketing firm, and I left each morning at 7:15 to beat traffic to the elementary school. We'd settled into the comfortable routine of a long marriage, not passionate anymore, but not hostile either. Just there. I barely use social media. I'd created a Facebook account years ago to see photos of my niece, but I checked it maybe twice a year. My profile picture was still from 2019, me and Amber at the Grand Canyon, both of us squinting into the sun. I had 47 friends, mostly family, and a few colleagues from teacher training. What I didn't know was that Amber maintained 2 separate Facebook accounts. Her main one, under Amber Fitzpatrick, had privacy settings locked down tight. Only her Austin friends and work contacts could see it, and I was on that friends list, though I never looked. But her second account, under her maiden name, Amber Castellano, was where her entire Bloomington life existed. It had 487 friends, every person from high school, family members back in Indiana, old co-workers from before she moved to Texas. I wasn't on that friends list. None of our mutual friends were. It was a completely separate digital world. When she posted photos with Brad, they went to the Castellano account. When she updated her relationship status, it was on that profile. My world and that world never intersected, by design. But I didn't know any of this yet. Not in August. Not in early September when she seemed increasingly nervous, checking her phone constantly, her mood swinging between excitement and anxiety. "You okay?" I asked one evening in mid-September. She was staring at her phone, her thumbnail between her teeth. "Fine," she said quickly. "Just work stuff." "Client giving you trouble?" "Something like that. It'll blow over." I went back to grading papers. Should have pressed harder, should have asked more questions. But that's the thing about trust. You don't interrogate when you have no reason to doubt. The week before the trip, Amber became almost manic. She went shopping 3 times, came home with new dresses, new shoes, a new clutch purse. She got her hair highlighted, her nails done. I teased her about it. "It's just a reunion. They've all aged 20 years too, you know." "I know," she said, examining her reflection in the hallway mirror. "I just want to look good. Is that so wrong?" "Not at all. You always look good." She didn't respond, just kept staring at herself like she was trying to memorize her own face. The Friday we were supposed to fly out, I woke at 5:30 and found Amber already in the shower. We had a 9:15 flight from Austin to Indianapolis with a layover in Dallas. By the time we reached the airport, she'd checked her phone 14 times. I counted. "You're making me nervous," I said in the gate. "What's going on?" "Nothing, I haven't seen these people in 20 years. What if I look old? What if it's awkward?" "You look great. And awkward is kind of the point of reunions, isn't it? Everyone's uncomfortable together." She gave me a weak smile and went back to her phone. "Who are you texting?" "Michelle. She's asking what time we land." "That's nice of her." "Yeah, she's excited to see me." The flight to Dallas was uneventful, though Amber gripped my hand during takeoff hard enough to hurt. During the layover, she excused herself to the bathroom and was gone for 15 minutes. When she came back, her eyes were red. "Hey," I said, concerned now. "What's wrong?" "Allergies," she said. "The recycled air." "You want some Benadryl? I have some in my bag." "No, I'm fine, really." But she wasn't fine. I could see that. Her leg bounced the entire time we waited for our connecting flight. She kept checking her phone, typing messages, deleting them, typing them again. "Amber, seriously, talk to me." "There's nothing to talk about, I'm just nervous." "About seeing old friends?" "About seeing everyone. About being judged. About whether I made something of myself or if I'm just mediocre." That was the most honest thing she'd said in weeks. "You're not mediocre. You're talented, successful. You have nothing to prove to these people." She looked at me then, really looked at me, and something in her expression made my stomach drop, like she wanted to tell me something but couldn't. "Owen." "Final boarding call for Flight 1847 to Indianapolis," the gate agent announced. Whatever she was going to say died there. We boarded. She was silent the whole flight, staring out the window, her jaw clenched. I tried to read a book but couldn't focus. Something was off. We landed in Indianapolis just after 2:30 local time. The rental car place was efficient, and by 3:15 we were on I-65 south toward Bloomington. The Indiana landscape rolled past, flat, then gradually more wooded. It was prettier than I'd expected, all amber and gold with early autumn colors. "Tell me about Bloomington," I said, trying to break the tension. "Small town. 50,000 people, mostly because of the university. I grew up on the east side near the lake." "Lake Monroe?" She glanced at me, surprised. "You looked it up?" "I like to know where I'm going. Read about the Hoosier National Forest, too. Thought we might go hiking Sunday morning if you wanted." "Maybe," she said, but her tone suggested otherwise. "Did you hike there as a kid?" "Sometimes. My dad would take us camping at Paintown. That was nice." "We should call him tonight. Let him know we made it." Her hands tightened on her lap. "He's probably busy. You know how he is." I did know. Her father was retired and spent most of his time fishing in Florida. Never too busy for a call from his daughter. But I didn't push it. We drove through rolling hills past farms and small towns with names like Nashville and Bean Blossom. The trees were thick here, turning red and gold. It really was beautiful. "You miss it?" I asked. "Sometimes." "Must be nice to be back." "Yeah." That was all she'd give me. We drove the rest of the way in silence. We checked into the Hampton Inn on Bloomington's north side around 4:30. The room was standard. 2 queen beds, a desk, a bathroom with those tiny bottles of shampoo. Amber immediately plugged in her phone and went to take another shower. I sat on the bed and flipped through the reunion itinerary. Cocktail hour at 6, dinner at 7, dancing and socializing until 11. The venue was the Monroe Convention Center downtown. Dress code was cocktail attire. While Amber showered, I called my sister in San Antonio just to check in. She asked how the trip was going. Fine, I guess. Amber's nervous. It's her reunion. She's allowed to be nervous. I know. Just seems like more than normal reunion jitters. Maybe she's worried about seeing an ex-boyfriend. I laughed. Probably. She mentioned dating some guy in high school, Brad something. Well, don't let it bother you. High school relationships don't mean anything 20 years later. If only she knew. When Amber emerged from the bathroom 40 minutes later, I barely recognized her. She'd curled her hair, put on makeup, more than I'd seen her wear in years, and was holding up two dresses. The blue one or the black one? Blue, I said. You look beautiful, she bit her lip. Thanks. Are you going to change? Yeah, give me 20 minutes. I showered and changed into my gray suit, the one I wore to parent-teacher conferences. When I came out, Amber was sitting on the edge of the bed, staring at her phone again. Everything okay? She jumped. Yeah, fine. Just checking Facebook, seeing who's posted about tonight. Anyone interesting? Michelle, Sarah, a few others. She locked her phone quickly and stood up. You ready? By 6 o'clock, we were in the car heading downtown. The sun was starting to set, painting the sky orange and pink. Bloomington's downtown was charming. Brick buildings, tree-lined streets, local shops. We passed the courthouse square, restaurants with outdoor seating, the university campus. The Monroe Convention Center was a modern building with floor-to-ceiling windows and a fountain out front. The parking lot was already half full. Amber sat in the passenger seat, not moving. You ready? I asked. Give me a minute. I waited. She took 3 deep breaths, checked her makeup in the visor mirror, adjusted her dress. Finally nodded. Okay, let's go. Inside, the main ballroom had been decorated with navy and silver balloons. The school colors, apparently. Round tables filled the space, each with a centerpiece that incorporated the year 2005 in silver numbers. A bar stood in one corner, and a DJ was setting up near a small dance floor. Maybe 60 people were already there, most of them clustered in groups, talking and laughing. The sound hit me first. That particular hum of multiple conversations, laughter, the clink of glasses. Then the smell, perfume, cologne, the faint odor of hotel banquet food. We checked in at the registration table. A woman with a name tag that read Sharon Reunion Committee handed us our badges. Mine was a generic guest sticker. Amber's read Amber Castellano, class of 2005. I felt a small jolt. She'd legally changed her name when we married, but of course the reunion would use her maiden name. Still, seeing it written out like that, like Fitzpatrick never existed, unsettled me in a way I couldn't quite name. Is there a seating chart? Amber asked Sharon. No, it's open seating. Just find a spot you like. Dinner's at 7. Thanks. We walked into the main room. Amber's eyes scanned the crowd, searching for something. Or someone. Amber? A woman's voice, high and excited. Oh my God, Amber! A blonde in a red dress rushed over and hugged my wife. You look amazing. I saw on Facebook you were coming, but I wasn't sure you'd actually show. Michelle! Amber's voice was bright, but I heard the strain underneath. You look great too. This is Owen. Owen, this is Michelle. We were in choir together. Michelle shook my hand enthusiastically. So nice to meet you. Are you from Bloomington originally? No, I'm from Austin. We both live there now. Oh, fun. Come on, Amber, there's a whole group by the bar. Sarah's here, and Jessica, and remember Brad? Brad Morrison? He's here too. I felt Amber's hand tighten on my arm. Brad's here? Yeah, he looks good. Just got divorced last year, actually. Sad situation, but he's doing better now. Come on. Amber's face had gone pale, but she followed Michelle toward the bar. I trailed behind, increasingly confused. She'd mentioned dating someone named Brad in high school, but her reaction seemed excessive for seeing an old boyfriend. The group by the bar was about 10 people, all talking over each other. Michelle inserted herself and us into the circle with practiced ease. Look who I found! There was a chorus of greetings. I shook hands with Sarah, a redhead with a loud laugh. Then Tom, who said he'd played football with Brad. Then Lisa, who taught at the local elementary school and wanted to compare notes about education. I smiled, forgot names immediately, tried to keep track of who was who. Then a man stepped forward from the back of the group. He was tall, maybe 6'2", with dark hair going gray at the temples. Good-looking in that aging athlete way, broad shoulders, strong jaw, the kind of face that probably hadn't changed much since high school. He wore jeans and a blazer, no tie. His eyes locked onto Amber. Hey, Amber, he said quietly. Brad. Her voice was barely a whisper. The group went silent. I felt it. That sudden awareness when everyone knows something you don't. The conversations around us stopped. People exchanged glances. Brad looked at me. You must be Owen. I'm Brad Morrison. Amber and I dated back in the day. He extended his hand. I shook it. His grip was firm but not aggressive. His eyes were searching mine, looking for something. Nice to meet you, I said. Likewise. He turned back to Amber. Can we talk? Just for a minute? I don't think that's a good idea, she said. Please, 5 minutes. Brad? Amber, please. Michelle jumped in, her voice too bright. Let's all grab some drinks. Owen, what are you having? Coke, I said. I was driving, and besides, I wanted to stay sharp in a room full of strangers. Something about this whole situation was making my instincts fire. Just a Coke? Come on, you're at a reunion. Have a beer at least. I'm good with Coke, thanks. I ordered at the bar while Amber and Brad stood a few feet away, talking in low voices. Or rather, Brad was talking and Amber was shaking her head. Michelle hovered nearby, pretending to look at her phone but clearly eavesdropping. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I could see his face, confused, hurt, angry, and her face, terrified. Tom, the football player, sidled up next to me. Awkward, huh? What? Brad and Amber, they were pretty serious back in high school. Dated junior and senior year. Everyone thought they'd get married. What happened? She went to Indiana University, he went to Purdue. Long distance didn't work out. She moved to Texas after graduation, and that was that. He seemed upset about seeing her? Tom shrugged. Brad's been through some stuff lately. Divorce hit him hard. He's been kinda raw. I carried my Coke back to the group. Sarah was telling a story about their senior prom, something about a limo breaking down. I half listened, watching Amber and Brad out of the corner of my eye. Then Brad's voice rose. Not shouting, but loud enough to cut through the ambient noise. You lied to me. Several heads turned. Amber grabbed his arm, trying to pull him away, but he didn't move. Brad, please, not here. When were you going to tell me? Michelle rushed over. Hey guys, let's take this outside. Tell you what, I heard myself say. I walked over to them. What's going on? Brad looked at me, then at Amber. You really don't know, do you? Know what? Amber's eyes were huge. Oh, and let's go. We should go. Amber told me she was divorced, Brad said. His voice was getting louder. More people were turning to watch. She told me she and her husband split up 2 years ago, that it was amicable, that they'd both moved on. The room tilted slightly. I looked at my wife. What is he talking about? Owen. We've been seeing each other for 6 months, Brad continued. His voice was getting louder with each word. More people were turning to watch. The DJ stopped setting up. She comes to Bloomington every few weeks, stays at my place. We were talking about her moving back here permanently, about getting serious. And then tonight, she shows up with you, wearing a wedding ring, and Michelle's calling you her husband. Brad, stop! Amber was crying now, tears streaming down her face. 6 months? I couldn't process it. You've been coming here? Owen, please, can we go somewhere private? She showed me divorce papers, Brad said. His voice cracked. Official-looking documents. I saw them with my own eyes. That detail cut through my shock. What? A PDF with the Travis County seal, electronic filing stamps, case number, everything. She said her lawyer handled it all online because it was uncontested. She said you'd both moved on, that there were no hard feelings. Brad's hands were shaking. I even looked up the format online. It matched exactly. I thought I was being careful. I thought I was doing due diligence. She works in graphic design, I heard myself say. My voice sounded strange, distant. She knows Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, all of it. Brad's face went white. Jesus, she faked them? I guess she did. By now, at least 30 people were watching us. The DJ had stopped setting up completely. Someone near the entrance had pulled out their phone, probably recording. Sharon, the reunion organizer, rushed over, her committee badge glinting under the lights. Hey, folks, why don't we take this somewhere private? She gestured toward a side room. There's a conference room we can use. I held up my hand. No. Sharon blinked. I really think it would be better. I said no. My voice was calm. Eerily calm. She brought me here. Whatever this is, it happened in public. It stays in public. Owen, please. Amber grabbed my arm. Please, not here. Everyone's watching. I looked at her directly on the first time since Brad's revelation. Her mascara was running. Her lipstick was smudged. She looked terrified. That's your problem now, not mine. Sharon backed away, hands raised. The circle of onlookers had grown to 40-50 people. Jessica pushed forward from the crowd. She was clearly drunk, swaying on her heels, champagne sloshing in her glass. I knew something was off. Jessica, don't... Michelle tried to grab her friend's arm. No, she's been lying to everyone. I saw you two at Starbucks in April and you said he was a client. A client. And you were holding hands. Brad turned to Jessica. What? Yeah. I asked Amber who you were and she said you were a client from some firm she freelances for. But you were holding hands across the table. Jesus Christ, Brad muttered. And she's been posting on Facebook about you two for months. Jessica was warming to her audience now, enjoying the drama. Going to your niece's birthday party, meeting your mom, dinner at the Upland Brewery, all of it. Wait, I said. Facebook. What Facebook? Jessica fumbled for her phone. Here, look. Her page, Amber Castellano. She thrust the phone at me. I scrolled through the profile. There was Amber at a backyard barbecue with people I didn't know. Amber and Brad at a restaurant. his arm around her shoulders. Amber at what looked like a child's birthday party, helping a little girl blow out candles. Brad watching them both with an expression of such tenderness, it made me sick. Post after post, going back to April. March, actually. The first photo was dated March 15th. Amber and Brad at a coffee shop, the caption reading, "Reconnecting with old friends is the best." The relationship status at the top of the page said, "In a relationship with Brad Morrison." Updated April 3rd. "She has two accounts," someone else said. "Sarah, I think. I saw her posting on both. The Austin one never mentions Brad. This one never mentions you. Two completely separate lives." I kept scrolling. There were comments from people congratulating them. Amber's responses, full of heart emojis. Brad's mother commenting, "So happy for you both." Photos of them at a farmer's market, at a movie theater, at what looked like a hiking trail. I looked at my wife. "You built an entire second life." She couldn't speak, just sobbed harder. Brad spoke up, his voice shaking. "She told me she needed a separate phone for client calls, a business line. I never questioned it." "Prepaid?" I asked. He nodded. "She said it was cheaper that way, that she could control the expenses better for tax purposes. Convenient. No phone bill for me to find." "Owen, I'm so sorry." Amber reached for me. I stepped back. Don't touch me." Thank God I'd stuck to soda all evening. My head was completely clear, which somehow made this nightmare worse. No buffer, no haze, just stark reality. Tom from the football story spoke up. "I saw you two at the chocolate mousse in May. You were sharing a dessert." "And I saw them at the 4th of July concert," another woman added. "On the courthouse lawn. They had a blanket and everything." "Stop," Amber whispered. "Please stop." But they didn't stop. More people kept adding their sightings. The library, the grocery store, a restaurant on the square. 6 months of evidence, 6 months of public appearances, 6 months of a relationship that everyone in Bloomington knew about except me. "When?" I asked Amber. "When did this start?" She was sobbing too hard to answer. Brad answered for her. "We reconnected on Facebook in February. Started messaging. She said she was going through a divorce, that it would be final soon. We met in person in March when she came to town for, what did you say, consulting work?" "There is no consulting work," I said. "She works from home, for one firm, in Austin. She told me she was freelancing with a marketing company here, meeting with clients, building a Midwest portfolio." All lies. Yeah, all lies. The room was completely silent now, except for Amber's crying. 60 people watching a marriage dissolve in real time. "How did you even get away?" I asked her. "How did you explain being gone?" She still didn't answer. Michelle did, quietly. She said she was visiting her parents, in Florida. "Her parents moved to Florida 3 years ago," I said. "From here, from Bloomington." More murmuring from the crowd. Brad looked like he might be sick. "So every time she told you she was going to Florida," Michelle trailed off, "she was here, with him." Brad ran his hand through his hair. "She showed me divorce papers, real-looking ones. I reverse image searched the county seal to make sure it wasn't fake. I compared the format to examples online. It had a case number, filing date, judge's signature, everything." "She works in graphic design," I said again. "Creating fake documents is literally part of her skill set. Wedding invitations, business cards, certificates. Adding a realistic county seal would take her maybe 20 minutes." "I went through a real divorce 3 years ago," Brad said. What she showed me had all the same elements, the same language, the same formatting. I thought I was being smart, thought I was protecting myself. Jessica swayed closer, still holding her champagne. Why would she do this? Like, what's the point? Just get divorced for real if you want to be with Brad. I don't know, Brad said quietly, looking at Amber. Why didn't you just leave him? Why all the lies? Amber finally found her voice. Because I didn't know what I wanted. I was confused. I wanted both. Both? I stared at her. You wanted both? I didn't want to hurt you. Too late for that. And I didn't want to lose Brad. Also too late. She crumpled, literally sank down onto the floor in her blue dress, crying so hard she was hyperventilating. Michelle and Sarah rushed to help her up. She fought them at first, then let them guide her to a chair. Sharon, the organizer, tried again. Please, can we clear the room? Give them some privacy? No, I said. Everyone can stay. Amber brought me here, paraded me in front of all of you, made me complicit in her lie. You all deserve to know the truth. Owen, Michelle started. How many of you knew? I asked the crowd. How many of you saw them together and thought, Amber's moved on quickly from her divorce? Silence. Guilty faces, at least a dozen people. And how many of you never questioned it? Never thought to ask if maybe, just maybe, she was lying? We didn't know she was still married, Sarah said defensively. She told you she was divorced, and you believed her. Because why wouldn't you? That's not fair, Tom said. We're not mind readers. You're right. It's not fair. None of this is fair. I looked at Brad. He was staring at Amber with an expression I couldn't quite read. Betrayal, yes. Hurt, definitely. But also something else. Embarrassment, maybe. Or shame. Did you love him? I asked Amber. She looked up at me, mascara streaking her face. I don't know. Maybe. It felt like I did. And me? I loved you once. Really loved you. But somewhere along the way we just stopped. No, Amber. You stopped. I was still here. I was still trying. You're the one who checked out. Our marriage was already dead, she said. You know it was. We barely talked anymore. We hadn't had sex in 8 months. You were always at school or grading papers, and I was always working. So you decided to solve that by having an affair instead of, I don't know, talking to me about it? She had no answer. Did you ever think about just asking for a divorce? Just being honest? I was scared. Of what? Of being alone. Of starting over. Of failing. So instead you failed both of us. Me and Brad. Brad flinched at that. He'd been silent for a while, just watching. Now he spoke up. I need to know something. Was any of it real? Amber looked at him. All of it was real. My feelings for you were real. But you lied about everything else. I know. You met my mother, my niece, my friends. You came to family dinners. You talked about moving here, about us building a life together. And the whole time you were married. I know. That's all you have to say? I know. What else do you want me to say? I want you to explain how you could do this. How you could look me in the eye, sleep in my bed, talk about our future, and know it was all built on lies. I'm sorry. That's not an explanation. I don't have one. I wanted to feel young again. I wanted to feel like I had options. Like I wasn't just trapped in a mediocre marriage in a city I never really liked. I felt that like a punch. Mediocre? Owen. No, finish the thought. Our marriage was mediocre? It was comfortable, safe, but not exciting, not passionate, not alive. And Brad was exciting? She nodded, crying again. So you blew up our entire life because you were bored? I didn't mean for it to go this far. I thought I could keep them separate, keep everyone happy. That's not how reality works, Amber. You can't have two lives. I know that now. Sharon tried one more time. Please, everyone, let's... We're leaving, I said. I looked at Amber. We're going back to the hotel. You're packing your things, and then I'm going home. You can figure out your own way back to Austin. Oh, and please, did you ever love me? The question came out before I could stop it. The one question I wasn't sure I wanted answered. She didn't answer fast enough. That was answer enough. I turned and walked toward the exit. Behind me, I heard Brad say something to Amber, his voice raw with anger. I heard her cry harder. I heard the murmur of 60 people who'd just witnessed something they'd be talking about for years. Sharon, the organizer, caught up with me at the door. I'm so sorry, she said. If there's anything, there's not. But thank you. Do you need someone to drive you? You seem... I'm fine, completely sober. Haven't had a drop. She looked relieved. Okay. Well, I'm sorry this happened at our event. Not your fault. I walked through the parking lot, my hands steady as I unlocked the rental car. The September air was cold, sharper than I'd expected. Stars were out, bright against the dark sky. I sat in the driver's seat and waited. Amber emerged 10 minutes later, Michelle supporting her on one side. They walked to the car. Michelle helped her into the passenger seat, then leaned down to look at me. She's really drunk, and a mess. Just be careful driving, okay? I'm sober, I said. I haven't had a drop. Michelle nodded and stepped back. She mouthed something at me. I'm sorry, then walked back to the convention center. I started the car and pulled out of the parking lot. The drive back to the hotel took 12 minutes. Amber cried the entire time. I didn't say a word. At the hotel, I held the door open while she stumbled inside. In the room, I pulled her suitcase from the closet and set it on the bed. Pack, I said. Owen, can we please just talk? No, pack your things. I'm taking the rental car. You can call an Uber to the airport tomorrow, or call Brad, or call whoever you want. I don't care, but you're not coming back to Austin with me. Where will I go? Not my problem. She sank onto the bed. I never meant for this to happen. Which part? The cheating? The lying? The fake divorce papers? The secret Facebook account? Which part didn't you mean to happen, Amber? All of it. Brad and I, we had history. And when we reconnected, it felt like being 20 again, like I got a second chance at something. At the expense of our marriage. Our marriage was already dead. You said that yourself. No, I didn't. You did. Well, it's true. Is it? I sat down in the desk chair. Because I thought we were fine. Not perfect, but fine. I thought we were partners. I thought we were building a life. We were building your life. Your teaching career, your friends, your city. I was just along for the ride. You chose to move to Austin. I didn't force you. I chose you. Austin was part of the package. So this is my fault? You cheating on me is somehow my fault? No, it's my fault. I'm not blaming you. I'm just explaining. I don't want explanations. I want to know if you loved him. I told you. I don't know. Maybe. And me? I loved you once. Really, deeply loved you. But that was a long time ago. When did it stop? I don't know. Gradually. It wasn't one moment, just death by 1,000 cuts. I stood up. Pack your things. I'm leaving in 10 minutes, with or without you being packed. She finally started moving, pulling clothes from drawers, throwing them into her suitcase. She was crying the whole time, mascara and tears staining her dress. I felt nothing. That scared me more than anger would have. At the door, she turned back. For what it's worth, I really am sorry. It's not worth much. I picked up my own bag, I'd never unpacked, and walked out. At the door, I turned back. For what it's worth, Brad seems like a good guy. I feel bad for him too. Then I left. I drove through the night. I-65 north to Indianapolis, then west toward Illinois. I couldn't face a flight tomorrow, couldn't face being trapped in an airport or a plane with my thoughts. I'd drive back to Austin. 18 hours, give or take. I'd stop when I got tired. The highway was mostly empty. I drove through darkness, watching the mile markers tick past. My phone buzzed periodically. Texts from Amber that I didn't read. A few from Michelle checking on me, one from Sharon apologizing again. Around midnight, somewhere south of Chicago, my phone rang. A number I didn't recognize. Hello? Owen, it's Brad. I hope this isn't weird, me calling. Michelle gave me your number. She said you might need someone to talk to. After tonight, nothing's weird. Yeah? He laughed bitterly. Listen, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I had no idea. About you. About any of it. If I'd known, I believe you. She showed me those divorce papers. I saw them. They looked completely legitimate. A PDF scan with the Travis County seal, electronic filing stamps, the whole thing. There was a case number and everything. I even looked up the format online. It matched exactly. She's good at her job, I said. Attention to detail. I even reverse image searched the county seal to check if it was real. She got that right, too. I thought I was being careful. You were. She's just better at lying than you are at detecting it. That's a depressing thought. Yeah. We sat in silence for a moment. Two men connected by betrayal, driving through separate darknesses. What are you going to do? Brad asked. File for divorce. Real divorce papers this time. You? Already blocked her number, her Facebook, everything. Michelle and the others are doing the same. Pretty sure Amber Castellanos' social life in Bloomington is over. Good. For what it's worth, Brad said quietly, the way you handled that tonight? With dignity? That was impressive. I wanted to hit something. You kept your head? Shock, probably. Maybe, but still. You didn't yell? Didn't make a scene? I made her stay in that room, in front of everyone. That was deliberate. She earned it. Yeah, she did. We talked for another 20 minutes. About his divorce 3 years ago. About my teaching job. About how we'd both been played by the same woman. About whether we could have seen it coming. When I hung up, I felt marginally less alone. I drove through the rest of the night and into Saturday morning, stopping only for gas and coffee. My phone buzzed periodically. More texts from Amber that I deleted without reading. A voicemail from Michelle. A message from Sarah saying half the reunion had left early after what happened. I arrived home in Austin Sunday afternoon. The house felt wrong immediately. Too quiet. Too full of Amber's things. Too full of memories that now felt like lies. I went to her car, still parked in the garage. In the glove compartment, I found what I was looking for. The prepaid phone Brad had mentioned. It was a cheap Android, the kind you buy at Walmart for $40. It wasn't password protected. When I turned it on, there was exactly one contact. Ashley, design client. I called the number. It rang twice. Amber? Brad's voice. I hung up, sat in the driver's seat of her car, stared at the phone. She'd told him she needed a separate business line for client calls. He'd probably never questioned it. Clean, simple, untraceable. No phone bill for me to find. Just $30 monthly refills at the gas station. I took the phone inside and added it to the box I'd started. Evidence. Not that I needed much. Texas was a no-fault divorce state, but still, it felt important to document everything. Monday morning, I called in sick to work and went to see a lawyer. Rachel Winters came highly recommended. 40s, professional, no nonsense. Her office was in a building downtown, all glass and steel. "Tell me what happened," she said, after we'd shaken hands and I'd paid the consultation fee. I told her. All of it. The reunion, the revelation, the fake papers, the second phone, the Facebook accounts. She took notes on a yellow legal pad, her expression neutral. When I finished, she set down her pen. "Texas is a community property state," she said. "You have options. We can file on grounds of adultery. You have overwhelming evidence. Texts, photos, witness testimony, the whole thing. That can impact property division if a judge finds the cheating spouse wasted community assets on the affair." "Can?" I asked. "It's not guaranteed. We'd have to prove she spent significant marital funds. Hotel rooms, gifts, trips. We'd need to subpoena credit card records, bank statements. It adds months to the process, more legal fees, depositions, interrogatories. Gets ugly fast." She leaned forward. "Or we file no fault insupportability. Texas has a 60-day waiting period regardless of which route you take. No fault is clean, fast, standard 50-50 split, or whatever you negotiate. You could be done by Christmas." I didn't hesitate. No fault. I don't want to drag this out. I don't want revenge. I just want out. Rachel nodded approvingly. "That's probably the healthiest thing I've heard all week. And for what it's worth, the high road is usually shorter." "When can we file?" "I can have the papers ready by Wednesday. You'll need to serve her. After that, 60-day countdown starts. During that time, you can negotiate property division, debt allocation, all the financial stuff. If you agree on everything, the judge just signs off and you're done." "She's still in Indiana. Or maybe she's back. I don't know." "We'll find her," Rachel said. "That's what process servers are for." I signed the retainer agreement and wrote a check. Walking out of her office, I felt lighter. Not happy, nowhere near happy, but like I'd taken the first step on a long walk towards something better. Amber came home Tuesday morning. I heard her car in the driveway around 10. I'd taken the whole week off from work, couldn't face my students yet. Couldn't pretend to be okay. She came in through the front door, slowly, like she expected me to be waiting with a baseball bat. I was in the kitchen, drinking coffee and reading the news on my phone. "Owen." Her voice was small. "Amber, can we talk?" "Sure." She sat at the kitchen table. I stayed standing, leaning against the counter. She looked terrible. No makeup, hair pulled back in a messy ponytail, wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt. Her eyes were puffy from crying. "I'm so sorry," she began. "I know. I never meant—" "You did mean it. You meant all of it. You just didn't mean to get caught." She flinched. "That's not fair." "None of this is fair, Amber. That's not really the standard we're working with here." "What happens now?" "I filed for divorce. You'll be served in the next day or two. We have a 60-day waiting period in Texas. After that, it's final." "Just like that?" "Just like that." "What about the house, our stuff? The cars?" "We'll split it, 50-50. My lawyer will work with your lawyer to figure out the details." "I don't have a lawyer yet." "Then get one. Rachel Winters gave me some names if you need recommendations." She nodded, twisting her hands together. "Can I stay here?" Until I find a place? I'd been dreading this question. Guest room. For 2 weeks maximum. I've already cleared out my stuff from our bedroom. It's yours. I moved into the guest room. Thank you. Don't thank me. This is pure logistics. I'm not doing it to be nice. I know. Silence stretched between us. She looked like she wanted to say something else but couldn't find the words. How's Brad? I asked. She looked up, surprised. He won't talk to me. Blocked my number, my Facebook. Michelle said he's really angry. He has a right to be. I know. You hurt him too. Maybe worse than you hurt me. How is it worse? Because he didn't have 8 years to see the cracks forming. He thought he was getting a second chance at love. Turns out he was just the other man. She started crying. I really did have feelings for him. I'm sure you did. Doesn't change what you did. Are you going to tell people? In Austin? Our friends? Yeah, probably. They'll ask why we're getting divorced. I'm not going to lie for you. What will you tell them? The truth. That you had an affair, that you lied about it, that it's over. That's going to humiliate me. You humiliated yourself, Amber. I'm just not covering it up. More tears. I felt nothing. That empty feeling was starting to worry me. One more thing, I said. Your Facebook, the Castellano account. She froze. How did you? Jessica showed me at the reunion. I saw everything. Every post, every lie you told about us being divorced. Her face crumpled. I'll delete it. I'll delete the whole account. No. My voice was firm. You're going to post a correction, the truth. That we're still married, that you lied, that I'm filing for divorce. You don't get to just vanish the lies. Brad deserves that. Your Bloomington friends deserve that. And frankly, I deserve that. Owen, that's humiliating. You humiliated me in front of 50 people Saturday night. You humiliated Brad. You humiliated yourself. This is just cleaning up the mess you made. Post the truth, or I will. Your choice. She stared at me, tears streaming down her face. Finally nodded. By tonight, I added. If it's not up by midnight, I'm creating an account and tagging everyone who needs to know. Okay, she whispered. I'll do it. Good. She left the kitchen. I heard the guest room door close. Heard her crying through the wall. I poured another cup of coffee and sat at the table. Pulled out my phone and texted Brad. She's back. Looks like hell. Won't be a problem for you anymore. He responded a few minutes later. Good. How are you holding up? Fine. Divorce papers filed. 2 months and done. Let me know if you need anything. Same to you. That night, around 9, my phone buzzed. A message from Brad. She posted, saw it. Thank you for making her do that. I opened Facebook on my phone, first time in months, and searched for Amber Castellano. The post was at the top of her feed, time-stamped 8:47 p.m. I need to come clean about something. I've been lying to many of you for the past 6 months. I am not divorced. I am still married to Owen Fitzpatrick. I lied about our relationship status, created fake divorce papers, and carried on a relationship with Brad Morrison under false pretenses. Owen is now filing for divorce, a real one. I'm deeply sorry to everyone I hurt, especially Brad and Owen. I have no excuses. I'm just sorry. The post already had dozens of comments. Most were some variation of, "What the hell?" or "I can't believe this." A few were sympathetic, mostly from people who didn't know the full story. Most were not. Michelle had commented, "I feel like an idiot for not seeing this." Brad, "I'm so sorry." Sarah, "Amber, this is beyond messed up." Jessica, I knew something was wrong. This is insane. Brad hadn't commented, but he'd reacted with an angry emoji. I closed Facebook and set down my phone. It was done. The truth was out. Now everyone knew. The next 2 weeks passed in a strange limbo. Amber and I lived like hostile roommates, polite when necessary, distant otherwise, careful not to overlap too much. She moved all her clothes to the guest room. We divided the kitchen in half. I cooked my meals, she cooked hers. We ate separately. The process server found her on Thursday. She signed for the papers without drama, just a long exhale and a signature. 60 days from now, she said, holding the documents. November 26th. Day before Thanksgiving, I noted. Ironic. Yeah. She looked at the papers for a long time. I really am sorry, for all of it. I know. Do you think you'll ever forgive me? I don't know. Maybe someday. But not now. Not for a long time. She nodded and went back to her room. The negotiations happened through lawyers. Property division was straightforward. The house was mine. We'd used my inheritance for the down payment and she didn't contest it. We split the savings account down the middle. She took half the furniture, I kept the rest. She kept her car, I kept mine. We divided the kitchen stuff, the books, the random accumulated debris of 8 years together. It was all very civilized, very rational, very sad. She moved out 2 weeks after coming home. Found a studio apartment on the south side of Austin, near some of her work friends. We hired movers to take her furniture. I stayed in the house while they loaded the truck. When they left, the house felt wrong. Too empty in some places, too full in others. That evening, I walked through every room. The bedroom looked strange with only my nightstand and dresser. The living room was lopsided with just one armchair. The kitchen felt too big. I sat on the back patio and called my sister. How are you doing? She asked. I don't know. Numb, mostly. That's normal. Is it? I thought I'd be angrier or sadder. But I just feel empty. You're in shock. It'll hit you later. When? I don't know. Everyone's different. But it will hit you. And when it does, call me, okay? Okay? I'm proud of you, for handling this with dignity. Didn't have much choice. You did, actually. You could have lost it completely. You could have done a lot of things, but you kept your head. Thanks. After I hung up, I sat in the growing dark and thought about that. Dignity. Everyone kept using that word. But I didn't feel dignified. I felt like someone going through the motions, checking boxes, completing tasks. File for divorce. Check. Divide property. Check. Move on with life. Check. But how did you move on from this? Michelle called me once during those 2 weeks. Said the Bloomington contingent was still reeling from what happened. Half of them think you're a saint for not losing it completely, she said. The other half think you're scary because you didn't lose it completely. Which half are you? Both, honestly. But mostly I'm just sorry you got dragged into this, and that we all knew Brad was dating someone but didn't think to question whether Amber was actually available. Not your fault. She was convincing. She really was. She had answers for everything. We asked about her ex-husband once, and she had this whole story about how you'd grown apart, how it was mutual, how you were both moving on. It sounded so reasonable. That's the thing about good liars. They make the lies sound reasonable. Yeah. Well, Brad's doing better, if you're wondering. Seeing a therapist, trying to work through trust issues. Good. He seems like a good guy. He is. He deserves better than what she did. So did I. Yeah, you did. Brad and I texted occasionally during those weeks. Short messages, usually late at night when neither of us could sleep. "Can't stop thinking about those divorce papers," he wrote one night. "How convinced I was that they were real." She knew what she was doing, knew you'd verify them, knew you'd done it before. She played to that. Makes it worse somehow, that she was that calculating. Yeah, another night. My mom asked about her today, had to explain it was all fake. What did she say? She hugged me. Then she said some very unchristian things about Amber. "Your mom sounds like a smart woman." She is. The days blended together. I went back to work after the first week, told my principal I was going through a divorce, kept my head down. My students were good distractions. Sixth graders didn't care about adult drama, just about whether they had homework and whether they could go to the bathroom. One of my colleagues, Lisa, asked how I was doing during lunch one day. "Fine," I said. "You sure? You seem empty?" I was going to say somewhere else. "Yeah, I guess I am. Want to talk about it?" "Not really, but thanks." She nodded and changed the subject to the upcoming fall festival. I was grateful. October bled into November. The 60-day countdown ticked away. I marked it on the calendar. November 26th, circled in red. 2 months to undo 8 years. Amber texted me once in mid-November. "I really am sorry. I know that doesn't change anything, but I am." I stared at the message for a long time. Finally typed back, "I know." She sent another. "Do you think we could ever be friends? Eventually?" "No." That was the last message between us. The court date was November 26th at 10 in the morning. Rachel met me at the Travis County Courthouse downtown. It was a gray morning, clouds threatening rain, the temperature dropping into the 40s. "Ready?" she asked. "As I'll ever be." It's straightforward. Judge reviews the settlement, asks a few questions, signs the order. 15 minutes, tops. That's it? 8 years, 15 minutes? That's it. Amber was already inside with her lawyer, Marcus, a young guy who looked fresh out of law school and seemed uncomfortable with the whole situation. We sat on opposite sides of the courtroom. I didn't look at her until I had to. The judge was a woman in her 60s named Patricia Torres. She had the efficient, no-nonsense demeanor of someone who'd presided over hundreds of these. She reviewed our settlement agreement, flipping through pages, occasionally nodding. Then she looked up. "Mr. Fitzpatrick, Mrs. Fitzpatrick, I've reviewed your agreement. Everything appears to be in order. Before I sign this, I need to ask you both some questions." "Yes, Your Honor," we said in unison. "Have either of you been coerced into this agreement?" "No, Your Honor." "Do you both understand that this dissolution is final and permanent?" "Yes, Your Honor." "Mrs. Fitzpatrick, have you made any attempt at reconciliation or marriage counseling?" Amber's voice was quiet. "No, Your Honor." "Why not?" "Because the marriage is over. We both know that." Judge Torres looked at me. "Mr. Fitzpatrick, do you agree?" "Yes, Your Honor." "Very well." She signed the papers with a flourish. "I hereby grant this dissolution of marriage. You're both free to go. Good luck to you both." It took 12 minutes, start to finish. 8 years of marriage dissolved in 12 minutes. Outside the courthouse, Rachel shook my hand. "You did good. Clean break. No drama. That's rare. Thanks for everything. Take care of yourself, Owen, and if you ever need anything, call me." "I will." I watched Amber leave with Marcus, their heads bent together as they talked. She glanced back once, caught my eye. I didn't wave, didn't nod, just looked at her until she turned away. Then I got in my car and drove home. Thanksgiving came 2 days later. I spent it at my sister's house in San Antonio, helped cook the turkey, played board games with my niece and nephew. It was nice. Normal. The kind of day that reminded me life went on. My nephew asked about Aunt Amber once during dinner. Where's she at? We're not together anymore, buddy. Did you break up? Yeah, we did. That's sad. Yeah, it is. He thought about that for a moment, then asked if he could have another dinner roll. Kids had the right idea. Acknowledge the sad thing, then move on. Brad texted on Thanksgiving night. How you holding up? Better than expected. You? Same. Having dinner with my mom. She asked about Amber. Told her it didn't work out. Understatement of the year. Right? Hey, you ever get to Austin for a visit, let me know. Will do. You ever get to Austin? Same. Deal. December brought a strange sense of peace. The divorce was final, the papers filed, the house officially mine. I changed the locks, not because I thought Amber would break in, but because I needed the symbolic gesture. New keys for a new chapter. I also went through every room one final time and packed up the last remnants of her. Photos I'd missed, books with her name in them, a weird ceramic owl she'd left in the attic. Boxed it all up and left it on her apartment porch on a Saturday afternoon. She texted later, "Got the boxes. Thank you." I didn't respond. Christmas was quiet. I stayed in Austin, caught up on grading, watched movies I'd been meaning to see, read 3 books. My sister invited me to San Antonio, but I declined. I needed the solitude. Brad called on Christmas Eve. We talked for over an hour about nothing and everything. His job as a contractor, my teaching, whether the Colts had any chance at the playoffs. They didn't. When we hung up, I realized something. He'd become a friend. An unexpected one, but a real one. New Year's came. I didn't make resolutions, just tried to take each day as it came. In mid-January, I got a message from Jessica. Just wanted you to know, Amber moved back to Bloomington. Got a job with some marketing firm up here. Thought you'd want to know in case she tries to contact you. I thanked her for the update. Wasn't sure how I felt about it. Relieved, maybe. Austin was mine now. She could rebuild in Indiana. February brought warmer weather and something that felt like clarity. 4 months had passed since the reunion. 4 months of processing, grieving, reorganizing my life. I was starting to feel like myself again. Different, quieter, more careful, but myself. I ran into Rachel at a coffee shop downtown one morning. Pure coincidence. We were both in line at the same time. Owen, how are you? Good, really good actually, she smiled. I'm glad. You earned it. Thanks, for everything. That's what I'm here for. You dating anyone yet? God, no. Can't even think about that. Fair enough. But when you're ready, you know where to find me. I know some nice people. I'll keep that in mind. As I walked back to my car, coffee in hand, I thought about that. Dating. It seemed impossible right now. But maybe not forever. Brad sent me a picture in late February. Him at some restaurant, holding a beer, actually smiling. First real smile in months, he wrote. Felt like you should know. I sent him back a picture of me at school, my students' artwork covering the wall behind me. Same. Progress. Progress, he agreed. It wasn't a happy ending, but it was an ending. And after everything, that was enough. I'd survived. We both had. And that counted for something. The house stayed quiet most days. I fell into new routines. Coffee on the porch in the mornings, grading papers at the kitchen table in the evenings, walks around the neighborhood on weekends. Small things, normal things, building blocks of a new life. One Saturday in March, almost exactly a year after Amber's affair began, I was cleaning out the garage when I found an old box of wedding photos. I sat on the concrete floor and looked through them. Young faces, full of hope. Amber in her dress, me in my tux. Our families gathered around us, everyone smiling. I felt a distant sadness looking at them, like watching a movie about someone else's life. I closed the box and put it in the donation pile. That evening, I made dinner and ate on the back patio as the sun set. The sky turned purple and orange, clouds lit from beneath. My phone buzzed. Michelle. How are you doing? Haven't checked in a while. Doing okay. How's Bloomington? Same as always. Drama's died down. People have moved on to other gossip. Amber keeps to herself mostly. Heard she's seeing a therapist. Good for her. You seeing anyone yet? No, not ready. When you are, let me know. I have a friend who just moved to Austin. Teacher, too. I think you'd like her. I smiled at that. Maybe someday. Someday's good enough. I set down the phone and watched the sky darken. Somewhere out there, Amber was rebuilding her life. Brad was doing the same. And here I was, doing the same. It wasn't the ending I'd expected when I got that reunion invitation back in August. But it was the ending I got. And I was going to be okay. Better than okay, eventually. Just okay for now. And that was enough.